Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everyone. Once you harness the power of energy in your life, it is a game changer. And energy is everywhere. It's in all of us and everything. It's been proven in quantum science many times over and over for decades. We're going to talk about energy today, specifically the energy of those who may have passed on to the other side and her work in terms of investigations and how you can even energetically cleanse the space that you're in. She's the woman behind the Reiki cottage, which for me is like the ultimate she shed. I mean, this is where she does her thing in Kentucky. She's Ashlie Bradley. She's back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm well, Steve. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Real good. Thanks for your positive energy, by the way.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
I feel it. So when we talk about readings that you do on the medium side, are we essentially talking about those connecting with those who have passed over?
Well, I mean, yeah, it can be pretty much in several different forms. To me, energy is just energy. So it can be a person or an animal or, whatever, even objects, do hold a lot of energy as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do people come before you and book a mediumship reading, and that's kind of the way it goes? Whatever comes up, well, whatever relative is reaching out?
Yeah. So, obviously they come to me with like a person in mind, right? So a lot of times I tell them to bring a picture or an article that belonged to them, but I can bring them up, via vibration anyway. I don't really need those articles. It's just nice to have if I really want to connect with that person. However, if that person doesn't want to talk to me and their grandmother does, their aunt does, or their best friend, whoever would like to speak with me, that's who's going to come through. And then that family member that they wanted to connect with normally will come through later, in most cases.
Do you see it in symbolism? Do you hear it? Do you smell it? Like what comes up when you're presented with information to pass on?
All those things come up. So I can hear. Sometimes I see them. Sometimes I see them just as clear as you or I. Sometimes, they just look kind of like a glimmery kind of. It's all different forms. There's really no staple that comes through. So yeah, I can hear, I can smell, I can, sometimes I go on journeys and, I don't, I'll see like what they see, or like a memory that they've had with whoever they're connected with. Or a lot of times they'll just like give me messages, to help them better their lives.
Do you ever doubt what you get?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because, a lot of times it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just, all the time, most times, it doesn't mean anything to me, but it means everything to them. So, I don't know what their memories are, but it, or what would mean something to them, but they definitely do when it comes through. It's a definite knowing.
We're all doubters in our life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we ride on that. Even using our intuition, we doubt it when deep down inside we know it's the right answer. When did you get to the point where you started trusting what's coming through? Like, I've got this for you. I'm presenting it to you. I don't know what it means, but I've got to share it with you. At what point did you get to that point where I'm giving it to him because I believe in it?
Yeah, Reiki really brought me to that knowing, like it really kind of filled the void and brought me the confidence that I needed to know that what I was hearing was real and that it wasn't, make believe. It was like, it's a knowing, and so if, I get things and then I'll just, tell, whoever, but I don't want to be intrusive. So if I see somebody eating at a table, I'm not going to go up to them and be like, hey, your grandmother wants me to tell you, I won't do those things. But if someone comes to me, I'll definitely open the playing cards and we can go from there.
Anything really radically unusual come through where do you remember any time where you just doubted it? Like, this is just off the wall, but I'm going to share it. Here's what I got for you.
Well, yeah, because like a lot of times I don't know the people or
Sure.
or the tribe. So I'm trying. Let me think. Most people don't know their background. So
Maybe
I can tell
symbolism.
you, yeah, symbolism for sure. I can tell you some like a personal experience that happened to me. When I first realized that all this was real for me, and that what I was seeing and really got out of my own way, because for a long time I shut it down for many, many years. I was probably 30, and I was in my garage, and I heard definitely, like, distinctly a man walking down the street. Like, I heard the boots. I saw him just as clear as you or I, and he got right behind my van and disappeared. So I freak out, and I'm like thinking, oh my God, he's climbed up on my van. He's coming to get me. And so I would not go back into my house. I was too scared to like leave where I was. So I was like frozen. And then I realized, like, after a while, that what I saw was a spirit, that he had been coming to me for some time, but that was the first time I ever saw him solid, and that he worked up the street from me in like the 70s in a plant, and he was hurt and he passed away. And so he was coming to me during this time period, and I did not know that. However, that day I crossed him over.
Got to make sure I got this right.
Okay.
So he had passed away
Mm-hmm.
previously, but he hadn't ascended to wherever?
Yeah, he like came to me after I moved in this home. So it was a brand new home.
Got it.
And it was, like I said, a brand new home, and it was the most active house I've ever lived in my life. And yeah, he would stand on my bedside table, and I had like he would flip the latch or the whatever, the handle on my bedside table, just flip forever. And so finally, I would try to ignore it. And then so finally I was like, what do you want? And he was just like, I want to talk. So I didn't see him. I just heard him at that time. And so this was probably 2 weeks in the making of me, becoming friends with this person or spirit. And then, I finally saw him in clear form, and it really like freaked me out. But I realized who it was.
Was he, I don't know how to verbalize this, stuck between here and the other side, and he needed your help to cross him over?
Yeah, he was stuck. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Does that happen often?
It does. And so, that's one of the things that I do is I cross people over. That has nothing to do with Reiki. It has everything to do with like my mediumship side. So that is one of the things that I do. So if they don't want to leave, I don't know how I do it, but I can like make them leave. I kind of got the nickname as an evictor. And so those are kind of low vibrationals. They don't like it when I show up, and I don't really care, and I don't want to communicate with them. And so they really want to communicate with me, and I'll just blast them out. So it's pretty awesome.
Do they call upon you knowing that you have the ability and can help them move on where they need to be? And why do you think, I've heard of this before, where somebody's stuck, they pass, but they haven't, I don't know what, if purgatory? I don't know what you call it, where they're in the middle, stuck in the middle.
Yeah, I could pretty much say stuck in the middle. In the other land is another term that I use. Yeah, we emit lights, and some of us lights are brighter. And so when they are lost, they search the light out. And if you are, a light worker, or if you are a crossover, that might be, part of your path that does, just fall into your lap. So in my experience, I had to deal with it because it just wouldn't leave me alone. And it was really affecting my whole family. So
Does it freak you? You get freaked out anymore?
I mean, occasionally. Okay, it depends on where I'm at. Normally that's the only thing I'm not fearful of, and I'm fearful of like real life things. But yeah, like I get kind of fierce when I'm in the land of the other, and I kind of I'll end up like kind of going after it. So like I get kind of fearless. I kind of turn my anxiety into power and just go. Because I know like if somebody's calling me in, they've exhausted all other resources and they need help.
Well, you said something I feel is really impactful before, and that is ask. Back when you were, in your 30s, it was, why are you doing this? What do you want? As he's flicking the handle on your nightstand, question him. What do you want? What's the reason you're here? Reveal yourself.
Yeah.
Is it your spirit guides, spirit team that you're relying on to help you with a lot of this information?
They keep me safe. My spirit guide and my spirit team keeps me safe. So they all have assigned different jobs, and they know exactly what they are. So there's no question. So, their goal is to keep me safe. They don't really deal with my communication. That's all me. But they kind of surround and they're my support system, and they just, they're there just to keep me safe.
You've been involved in quite a few investigations, call it paranormal investigations. Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. So I've gone to a lot of residential homes. I've gone to cool theaters. The theater was really awesome. I was with 2 other mediums on that particular one, and we were doing like a little show, and we went into this theater, and it was like I think it opened in the 30s and then it closed in the 70s. So all the different levels of music and laughter and fun and sadness in some parts happened at theaters. So much emotion.
Wow.
That was so awesome. Waverly Hills is an amazing place if you're into paranormal activity, which I am. So I love that. Always wanted to do an overnight, and I finally got to do an overnight with some of my closest friends, and it was amazing. We were locked in for 6 hours, and it was an open investigation with probably 60 other people. And everybody can kind of go in their own area. I mean, it's so much. The place is massive, So yeah, we got some really good material on that investigation for sure. Now, when I do a home investigation, and I do a lot, I don't put those on blast. I don't tell people about them. I don't film those. That is too intimate. Unless they really want that to be done, then I'll grant that wish for them. But I just go in and do my thing and go home. Most of them don't know who I am until I get there, or they're kind of surprised, when because I'm not a very big person. So, but I put in I could do a big work, I guess.
Is it? Let's say, I'll roll hypothetical here. You have a space where you do whatever. Maybe you do work there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say your home office. You go to your home office and it's like, I can't concentrate. I don't know what it is. I mean, the lighting is great. The setup is fine. I just can't really concentrate. Or you walk into a room or maybe at work in an area and it's just like, this feels off. I don't know what it is. Is there a good chance that there is negative energy in that space?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we can pick up negative energy anytime, any place, anywhere. I have spirits that jump in my car all the time. And then I have to have a mild conversation and be like, well, you came to me, I didn't come to you, so that kind of thing. Yeah. So that can get a little awkward at times, but, yeah, for sure.
That's an interesting point. They come to you. It's almost like, you're at a store or a restaurant, can I help you? Like, why are you here?
All the time. So that can get a little awkward, especially, if I just tell people, if you see me over in the corner talking, I'm having a business meeting, just leave me alone. I'll be out with you in a minute. So, like, really, I'm, dealing with something that they can't see. I obviously am dealing with something. So, it's just kind of become a long running joke. But yeah, definitely, we can pick up negative energy anywhere. You got to be mindful of who comes into your home for sure. And, you don't know what messes people are dealing with in their own personal lives. So, so I personally, when that happens, and I put Reiki seals on my property, on my home, on my house, on myself, on my car. But you can also just, simply sage your property or your home, and I would put quartz crystals at 4 points of your home inside, and that should do the clearing. If you have, an infinitive issue and just constant negative comes, I would tell you to put like maybe a horseshoe or iron, like a nail from a railroad nail, or like a horseshoe above your doorways, and with some selenite, throw some selenite up there.
Ooh. Right. This doorway, you can't even see it here, but I have a horseshoe there. And when I first got this space, and I can't remember how the horseshoe is right now because I'm not in that room, but I asked friends which way to put the horseshoe, whether it's like this or like this, up or down.
Up.
So that it's facing up.
Yes. Yeah. So you can catch the luck. You want to catch it.
Like in a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want the luck to run out, right?
Okay.
You want to catch it. So, also another thing that I do is, my selenite, I'll take my selenite and I'll finely mill it, grind it up super, super fine, and I'll put it in my paint for my home. So my baseboards.
Ooh, you are crafty. Oh,
Well,
I like the way you think. That's I'm a believer in selenite. Didn't even think about, here's one over here. Didn't even think about putting it in conjunction with the horseshoe. But yes, because of its properties, you could take a file and just file it down. Never even thought of that. Putting it to paint, even sprinkling it around. They should sell selenite dust.
Yes. And also black salt is another thing that I use on a regular basis. You can get it at pretty much any local metaphysical store, or some people want to make it. That can get a little dirty. But if you want to, you can order it on Amazon even. Put that around your doorways. If you're really dealing with negative issues, throw a little black salt under around your bed, in your shoes, like things like that. Salt period will ionize negative energy. So if you're having a really, really bad day, I tell people all the time, just take a little bit of salt and throw it in your laundry. When you wash your clothes, it will get rid of whatever, because you can have attachments. We can all get attachments, we'll get rid of that. Also, like where you sit the most, throw some salt there, let it sit there for a good 24 hours and come back and vacuum that up.
So a question on that, and thank you for that. Never even thought of that idea. Let's say you have furniture in your home, let's say from another relationship, and maybe that relationship didn't go well. I throw the furniture out if it's perfectly okay. What should you do? How often should you do it?
Salt it. Put some salt on it. Let it sit there. Vacuum it up. If you need to sage it, if you need to go as far as sage it, then sage it. But salt will really remove the negative energy out of that.
And just to reiterate on that, can you use regular salt, or you said black salt?
You can use regular salt. Black salt is what I would put at like my doorways. If I'm having like issues, or I'm trying to keep, negative out, things like that. So I would definitely put salt in my doorways. Black salt is what I use personally. And then with my laundry, I don't want to put any charcoal in with my laundry. So I would use, just table salt is fine. Just the intent, you have to have the intent to, remove the negative energy. Intent's there, right? So you have to have the intent to remove the negative energy and, just be out with the old and with the new.
How often, let's say you have furniture, belongings from a past relationship, how often should you sage it? Like,
Well, hopefully one good sage would do the trick. You know what I mean? Hopefully you don't have residual energy coming off of your furniture. However, if that's the case, then I would definitely do it, on a weekly or, biweekly basis until you feel that, the energy has calmed down. Things like wood can absorb negative energy. So that is something that you take into consideration.
When we talk about the intent, I got away from using, and I have many regular sage, real sage. You burn it, right? In terms of using spray. And a matter of fact, I got right over here. This is organic Palo Santo spray.
That would be fine. That's totally fine. If you want to use the spray, use the spray. It's just it's the spray or the smoke is all the same. Symbolistic and whatever you're trying to do. You're just trying to clear the space of negative energy. So whatever you're doing is going to work. That's what you're into. So you could have the smoke in the air, or you could do the spray. Either one would work equally as well.
Deeper question. So let's just say you have real organic spray. Now, it could be sage, which I do have, and then, of course, Palo Santo. It's the real deal. I know who I bought this from. It is from the wood. What about if you go to, Bath and Body Works and you buy a spray? Let's be honest. It's good chance it's not real sage. But if you put the intent into it, you spray it, and you are saying, bad energy, leave me, whatever mantra you use, open a door, you're thorough with it. Is that just as good because of the intent?
I mean, I would like to say yes, but if the entity is still there, or if you're still having activity, then you might have to up it up and call your local metaphysical shop and go on with the real thing. But I feel like it could work. If the intent is there, I feel like it could.
Final question. Difference between using sage and Palo Santo?
No, I don't. I mean, a lot of people say, like, if you're not a Native American, that you should not be using sage. Or I feel if it's called to you, you can use whatever you want, honestly. Who's to say if your nationality is going to outdo that or outweigh that? I mean, personally, I don't feel that in my realm. I use both. I also use dragon's blood resin. I use that a lot. And I use lavender. I use cedar. So there's several different things that I put together, and I kind of make my own blend.
Ooh.
But yeah, I use sage and Palo Santo together, along with lavender and rosemary and cedar. Yep, and dragon's blood resin. So that's what I burn. And sometimes, depends on the issue, I may use frankincense and myrrh along with it. It just depends on what I'm walking into. But that's normally, if I'm burning, that's what I'm burning.
I never thought about making your own blend because, pick the things that support you. And, of course, lavender to calm you. You brought up things today I never even heard of. And I've been in this area for a while, but going deeper, especially, I'm loving the mixing things up and putting it in your paint. Wow.
Yeah, that's been very beneficial. I mean, I went wild in my foyer in my home. Like it's every inch. So like every baseboard in my house has the selenite dust in it. So it's touched every room.
Love it. And why not? What do you have to lose? It's not affecting the paint. It's not affecting the color. It's minimal time. Just and drop it into the paint. You're good to go.
Yep.
Fantastic. Ashlie, how do we connect with you? How do we find you?
You can find me on the Reiki Cottage Kentucky on Facebook. You can find me Reiki Cottage Kentucky at gmail.com, or you can find on my website, or my website, Reiki Cottage Kentucky.
KY, Reiki Cottage, KY.com.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
I was sidetracked.
It's probably a spirit.
Probably.
Probably. I'm not even kidding. Thank you for today. Thank you for your insights. Funny, when we first met, I thought you were and I don't mean that in a negative way, just Reiki and attuned and certified and all of that, but you run way deeper in terms of spirituality and energy, and it's fantastic, and I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.